Timothy Bradley, Paul, Floyd Mayweather, Devin Alexander, and whoever the fans want to see.
Listen, I told you give them something visual, so you went ahead and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table.
Rollo Jenkins, boxologist, Zone6, Dre, BT Pound, 78 Fight News, Blood Boxing, Blood Fists, Boxing Beats and Rhymes, Female Boxing Fan, Carter J, Pull Counter, Joker Boxing, D Styles, the whole YTBC.
Break it down. Give me 5 people you're ready to fight right now.
Timothy Bradley, Paul, Floyd Mayweather, Devin Alexander, and whoever the fans want to see.
Listen, I told you give them something visual, so you went ahead and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table.
Rollo Jenkins, boxologist, Zone6, Dre, BT Pound, 78 Fight News, Blood Boxing.
All right, real quick. Okay, so let's go ahead and cook on some things real quick. This is just about structure and just good order and good discipline so you guys can know what to expect. I'm not going to hold you guys up too long for your day, but this is a very, very important podcast or broadcast coming from me because it's going to give you what to expect moving forward. This is not going to be long-winded. This is going to be straight up and down, no special effects. I got to touch on a couple of serious topics about the channel in general. So first thing first, I want to say I am extremely grateful for the views, for the support, and for everybody that is helping me usher in some sanity, some good, wholesome fun within the community. I greatly appreciate everybody for that. Okay. When you come in, share and like the video, let everybody know who's to know that I'm live so we can get a understanding. Yes, I am the undisputed champion. You know what I'm saying? I'm the man. I did my thing. But as we turn the pages on debates, okay, we're going to go ahead and kind of move away from that because the channel is not going to be centered around debates and arguments and banter. Okay, let's get that clear now. And what we're going to do, let me go ahead and take this all the way down so we can make sure that we clear and that I can absolutely be heard with no distractions. Because I want this to be loud and clear, Lima Charlie, for everybody. Now, I've built the schedule. This is a permanent schedule, unless I tell you otherwise. On Monday, I will put up a poll on my community page, asking maybe questions throughout the day on Monday. Depending on how I feel, depends on how many you may get. They're probably going to be themed, right? And where I will be drawing that inspiration from is the possible podcast that I'm going to do on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So let me explain this. Let me start from the beginning. On Tuesdays at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I will be going live. This is going to be dedicated to the young bulls. This is going to be a space in which we can communicate about with current and recent events. We could talk pay-per-view numbers. We could talk Canelo versus Benavidez, the proposed fight. We could talk about a lot more fluid and hypothetical scenarios and situations. It is dedicated to all people, but it's just primarily focused on recent news. So on Tuesday, I'm going to give you my thoughts on Benavidez and a possible Canelo fight. Canelo versus Benavidez, that's a possible fight. We could touch on the Crawford and Spence thing a little bit, but it's mostly going to be surrounded by the Crawford and Spence topic around the Terrence Crawford interview on $1 Million Worth of Game. Okay, and what we think about Boots and what we think about that interview in particular. So if you haven't seen the $1 Million Worth of interview with Gilly the Kid and Wallow, go check it out. Terrence Crawford is doing some explaining and some talking. They call up Danny Garcia. They call up Boots Ennis and his dad. That was a cool, nice interview. I will be reviewing that. Okay, that is current events. That is today's news. I will also probably be covering, the projected fight with Canelo and Benavidez and what that looks like and what that may not look like. I will also be discussing the pay-per-view numbers and the sales and how that may influence or impact boxing in a potential fight with Tank Davis or anybody at 135, and Devin Haney selling 150 pay-per-views and how that may affect a future fight with him at 135. That is going to be dedicated for the young bulls. Anybody can come, but that is a current events space Tuesday. Okay. Now, if you're a historian and you have your preferences and you don't want to involve yourself in recent news and the banter, then just listen or not and just move on, because this is going to be dedicated to a space in a time in a day, which is Tuesday, 11 o'clock Eastern Time Zone, hosted by yours truly, ZONE6 at the Eastside Palace, for us to talk current news. Everybody's not a bookworm. Everybody's not going to be interested in Sam Langford or in guys that can poke you in the eye that went infinite rounds. This is a space in a day being created specifically for my young bulls in a freshness of ideas about what's happening now. Do not come over here with a cocky, arrogant, historical ideology on Tuesday unless you can play ball with the young bulls. Okay? This is not an indictment on history. This is not a judgment place. This is a Tuesday space that is dedicated for a specific style of conversation for a specific group of people. There's a spectrum and all are invited. But if you find that kind of thing not interesting, please don't come over to murk up the waters. I'm going to allow these guys to move furniture around and get their licks off. They may cuss. That may be offensive to you. They may do some things and say some things that don't make sense. That's fine. I'm going to allow them to express themselves. And it may not even get to being that ridiculous, but I'm going to allow them to cook on Tuesdays. Now, on Thursdays, that is when I'm going to get into the throwback. Okay. On Thursday, we are going to talk about the historical nature of boxing. And the same courtesy that I'm extending on Tuesday, which the historians don't come in and crash and make anybody feel less than and condescending on these guys. Now, don't get it twisted. There are probably going to be a spectrum of people on Tuesday that show up, and it's going to be fun and it's going to be cool. But we're not coming into the space where it's about shitting on the guys who want to talk about pay-per-view numbers. We got to keep a balance here. Now, however, on Thursday, when we do these ranking videos, I expect all those historians, they may have tuned in Tuesday and have an opinion about what's going on currently and how they don't want to talk about pay-per-view numbers. I expect to see you on Thursday when we do these ATG rankings. Okay? You don't have to be there because I'm going to do it regardless whether you're there or not. I'm going to still keep the show moving whether anybody show up or not. But I don't want to hear the notion that talking about things on Tuesday that are new and current, and then you feel like, well, I don't like that particular day because they're talking about new and current things. That's going to be how it goes on Tuesday at 11 o'clock Eastern time. And if you feel like you're an historian, please don't get shy, because I don't want it to be this case where it always seems to happen. The historians tend to have a lot to say from afar, but when it's time to have civil engagement with a plethora of other notable and self-proclaimed historians, things tend to get distorted and people get shy all of a sudden. So I don't want to hear this. This would be a bougie day for Thursdays. We drinking wine, we sipping, brews, we eating steak, lobster, and we eating good crab legs, and we gonna keep it all the way player. OG status on Thursday. On Tuesday, we eating hot dogs, nachos, drinking malt liquor, girls shaking in the background. We having a good time. If you don't like that style of approach or conversation toward boxing, and you like the historical one, I'll see you on Thursday. If you don't like history and you don't care about Sam Langford, but you want to talk about Canelo, 6 Ways to Sundays, and the proposed fight between, or the fight that's being made, you good. Between Crawford and Spence, you want to talk about that 40, 50 times, I'm okay with that on Tuesday. Because see, what I'm going to do is I might do something like this. See, on Tuesday, we may talk about Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford. And on Thursday, we may get into the history and how a win could compare to the historical greats at welterweight. So I don't want nobody to run. I don't want nobody to get it misconstrued. Tuesday going to be a block party. Thursday going to be a conservative meeting amongst the great historians within the community. So on Thursday, we'll see and we'll compare. We'll see how the young bulls act with coming in with the new topics, and we're going to find out who want to really do history on Thursdays. And then we'll look at it. I'm going to analyze. I'm going to look at it. And we're going to find out who's who. So don't get on here. I don't want to hear any more conversations over here with me. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about. But Tuesday is going to be the block party. It's going to be for the young bulls to express themselves. They're going to cuss. They can say whatever they want to say about Earl Spence, about boxing, whatever it is they want to do. This is going to be their space. Everybody is welcome, but I understand it ain't for everybody. But on Thursday, we're going to get into the history. So this Tuesday, I'm going to talk about a proposed fight. This is tomorrow with Benavidez and Canelo Alvarez. I understand it's not booked. I'm going to talk about pay-per-view numbers. I'm going to talk about the Terrence Crawford interview on $1 Million Worth of Game. If that's not your cup of tea, I'll see you on Thursday when I'm calling out the whole historical community within the YouTube boxing community about these rankings. You go into my scheduled videos, they're already up. No excuses. You got plenty of notice. I don't want to get on Thursdays and I don't see nothing but 1 or 2 historians. And then on Tuesday, that's where all the fun is. That's where it's lit at. You got 6, 17 people coming through, talking their shit and speaking and cooking. And then on Thursday, all of a sudden, nobody wants to be a historian no more. When it's time to do the rankings. So you can hear what you really know and what you're really about. That's not a challenge, but it is a call out. So there's going to be a space for that. Okay? Everybody is welcome to both, but I want you to understand the behavior. If you're a young bull and you don't care about history, you're not going to crash this party on Thursday. This is a meeting of the minds. Don't bring your ass over here on Thursday if you don't give a fuck about Joe Jeanette and none of that, and you don't know how to rank heavyweights and you haven't done no research. Don't come over here with that shit. We're not going to be arguing with Hype Low. We're not going to be arguing with me and boxologists when we cooking. Okay? Say that shit for Tuesday. All right? Tuesday and Thursday, Young Bulls, Old Lion. Current events, Tuesdays, Young Bulls, all are welcome. Thursday is historical. Everybody who claims to know everything about Jack Johnson, Joe Jeanette, Sam McVay, you are welcome on Thursdays. On Tuesdays for the Young Bulls to get their get off. You could be there or not. You could listen or not. You could participate or not. But let them cook and let them do what they do. But on Thursday, for all you historical guys, I don't want this to be dry on Thursday. I don't want to hear that shit. Bring your ass and rank these heavyweights with me, because we're going to do middleweights. We're going to do welterweights. We could do conversations on what you think about Jack Johnson, what you think about Color Line, what you think about the colored heavyweight title, what you think about the series of white fighters, what you think about Gunboat Smith, Arthur Pelkey, what you think about bare knuckle boxing, the fight series, Jim Mace. We could do it all. You know what I'm saying? Patty Ryan, Tom Mello, Crib. Whatever you want to do, Jack Broughton, we can do that on Thursday. Because we're not going to have people beating up on the Young Bulls and then talking all that shit and trying to shine with the Young Bulls and murk up the waters. No, Thursday, I want all the historians out so it could be 5 historians on there, and we could go ahead and we could really lay the smack down on the channel for this quality content. No cussing, clean cigars, suit, and ties. Everybody coming with respect on Thursday. Now, Tuesday, we can get it in. Bring your blunts, your liquor, whatever you want to do. We can act a fool. Okay? And if you don't like that, that's cool. We'll see you on Thursday. But it's going to be apparent who and what's what, because we finna move this shit and get it clear. Okay? On Monday, based on what the theme is Thursday, Throwback Thursday with the Old Lions, I'm going to put a poll up. Today I put one up in reference to the Black Murderers Row Heavyweight Edition. Who do you believe is the best between the guys who I listed on my community page? That will coincide with what's going on Thursday. I will also I will start with that first. That's the first one I will put out first. So you guys got time to think about that one because it's historical. So you need more time to think about it. That's why the historical one is on Thursday so that you can have more time to do your research. I already have it scheduled. This B-Talk. What's up, B-Talk?
You see how Crawford checked?
I'm live right now. Hey, you had to jump on with my live. I'm looking at that. I'm getting on that now. I'm trying to get the structure of the channel under control. So I'm on live right now.
Are you on live?
Yeah. All right. All right. So let's make this clear. On Monday, when you wake up, you're going to get a historical question that feeds into the theme on Thursday. This Thursday is for historians and guys who want to learn and educate themselves. Won't be no cussing and fussing. This is for all the historians that claim whatever it is that they claim. Bring yourself on Thursday if you choose to, so we can have this conversation about history. I put it Thursday so that gives people who want to participate time to research the theme and come in prepared. Tuesday is the one that is more current events. That's why it's at the front of the week, because it takes less studying because we kind of in the loop on this stuff on Tuesday with the current events. Tuesday at 11 Eastern Standard Time, Thursday at 11 Eastern Standard Time. Those are the 2 days. You understand? Monday, I will drop probably 2 poll questions. One historical in nature relating to the heavyweight theme that we're going to be attempting to rank on Thursday. Okay? Top 10. This ain't gonna take all day. I'm just going to open it up. The panel gonna be opened up immediately. I'm gonna start talking. I'm not gonna sit here and beg you guys to get on Thursday because everybody start getting shy when it's time to rank stuff historically. I'm not finna do that. I put the schedule out. It's on my page. You see the schedule. You know what to do. You know what's going on. I already given you the question for the day to get your mind thinking. You have time to prepare. I'm not taking no shorts. If no historians show up, then the young bulls can come in and say whatever they want to say. I don't have a problem with that, and we can rank it with the young bulls. I don't care. On Tuesday, if none of you guys want to come in with current events and pay-per-view numbers and proposal and imaginary fights and hypotheticals, and the historians come over there, tough titty said to kitty. I don't care. So later on this Monday, okay, I'm going to set up a poll later on, okay, that has something to do with current events in nature, which is probably going to be who do you think will win in a proposed fight between Benavidez and Canelo Alvarez. I'm going to put Benavidez by decision, Benavidez by KO, Canelo by decision, Canelo by KO, or a draw. That coincides with Tuesday. If I'm not mistaken, on Thursday, I got who's the best heavyweight in Black Murderers Row right up on the community page right now. I said Sam Langford, Sam McVeigh. I got I think I put Obi Walker on there, and I put Harry Wells and Joe Jeanette. So go check out the community page. Who do you got as the best Black heavyweight Murderers Row member? That coincides with the debate or conversation that will take place on Thursday for historical content. Thursday at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Okay? I'm not begging nobody to come. I'm not asking nobody to come. I'm not listening to nobody tell me who they think need to come. We done. You come at your own will. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to worry about being consistent with the channel, and whoever want to participate. I'm going to structure it where everybody has an opportunity. I'm not begging nobody to come. I'm not taking all these suggestions. We need this person. I'm not doing all that shit. I want you to come, but I'm not finna spend too much time doing that. Okay? That's what's going to happen on Monday. A poll. It has something to do, two of them. It has something to do with Tuesday's current event question, and it's going to be having something to do with Thursday current event, historical event question. Thursday is later in the week. That gives you time to prepare. We're supposed to be ranking all-time great heavyweights. I'm trying to get the top 10 on Thursday, so bring your brain, bring your thoughts. I don't want to hear this nonsense. Don't be crying. Only people who coming with good intentions to rank the heavyweights are going to be allowed on the panel. If you come on there and you start arguing about what words and shit, I'm going to boot you off and get you out of there. You could come back on Tuesday. Tuesday, you could do a lot more. 1 second. This there they go, Phil. Boy, y'all hit me this morning. Hey, I'm live real quick. B-Talk just called me too. Let me finish this. I got to explain these people how they structure this channel going to work.
All right.
I'll hit you back. Or hit B-Talk real quick and I'll call you back in.
Yeah. I'm checking with B-Talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So with that being said, I hope we clear on that. Monday is going to be a poll related to Thursday's theme first, because Thursday is further out and Thursday is going to be historical content, which gives you time enough to look at the poll question early Monday and get your brain working so that you can participate on Thursday and come with notes or whatever it is you need to do to be prepared. Tuesday, I'll do a back-end question poll, which takes not too much brain power because you should be abreast on current events. And maybe you're not. Maybe you'll learn something on Tuesday from the young bulls. Tuesday is for everybody, but it's dedicated to the young bulls and the new current events. Thursday is dedicated to the old lions and the historians. And we're going to see who participate the most and who does what. So I don't want to hear this. Don't come over here if you're a young bull on Thursday crashing this party. We got all these suit and ties. We talking about historical content and you trying to crash the party. I'm going to throw you out. Tuesday, don't come over here being condescending and being a prick to these young guys talking about current event. We don't care if you like pay-per-view numbers. We don't care if you give a fuck about pay-per-view numbers. We don't care if you don't want to talk about fights that are not happening. We don't give a fuck. It's not about you. We'll see your ass on Thursday when you can bring your Jack Johnson, Jim Mace, your Tom Melanews, and all the shit you want to bring on goddamn Thursday. Okay? That's how the fuck that's going to work. That's Monday, polls. Tuesday for the young bulls and current event. Wednesday, I'll probably upload a short, maybe, or maybe I won't. I'll probably upload a short talking Thursday, because I'm not going to, I know Tuesday, I know they going to show up. I ain't worried about Tuesday. I know they going to do their thing. I'm not worried about Tuesday. But on Wednesday, I am going to politely say and remind all historians on Wednesday, hey man, we got an all-time ranking video. You are welcome. It is dedicated for you. I don't want to hear no excuses. That's how that's gonna work on Wednesday. Thursday, we're done. Friday, I make my rounds. If I'm here, I won't be doing that. Saturday, I won't be doing anything but making my rounds and watching boxing. Now for Sunday, if there's a massive fight that takes place on Saturday that is big in its regard, right? It's a massive major fight. I will come back Sunday at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to review that, bring the round table boys on, and it may be just dedicated to the round table guys, and y'all just may hear us really cook on it. We'll allow people to rotate in, but I want to dedicate it to Rollo, Phil, and the guys, and anybody who usually is featured in it, but I kind of want to get their assessments from the round table so we can kind of bring that classic style and that classic feel in. It just centered around who's available on that Sunday, possibly, right? But major fights, we tend to do this already on Sunday anyway behind the scenes. I'm just bringing it live in HD. So Monday, a community poll posing 2 questions. A current event question that relates to Tuesday. Okay, this one is going to be, who do you think wins between Benavidez and Canelo Alvarez in a proposed fight? KO for Benavidez, decision by Benavidez, KO for Canelo, decision by Canelo, draw. Don't come on there, if you're a historian, don't come on here Tuesday talking that nonsense, being condescending, talking about what you don't want to talk about, and pay-per-view numbers don't matter. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that shit. We're going to talk about whatever we want to talk about on Tuesday that's current. Thursday is the day for Throwback Thursday and for the old Lions. Bring your rankings, okay? Now, Sunday will be dedicated to after a massive major fight that is critical in nature. So, for instance, when Terrence Crawford fights Earl Spence and we get the results, I will be live the next day, which is Sunday at 11. 11 on Tuesday, 11 on Thursday, 11 on Sunday, if there's a major fight. Okay? For the round table boys to give their piece and speak their piece and wrap up the week. Sunday is also where we're going to do like a brunch thing, where the young boys and the old Lions come together, but it's going to be respectful. We all sitting at the table, drinking orange juice, eating pancakes, turkey bacon, and all that on Sunday. Thursday is we suit and tying up, steak, lobster, and shrimp, wine and cigars. Tuesday is Taco Tuesday, hot wings, girls shaking in the background. It's a goddamn party. We can do whatever it is that we like to do. Okay? Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Tuesday is a turn-up day. Thursday is a thorough day. And Sunday is a brunch day for us to kind of come together. So young bulls, old Lions, and the entire community on Sundays come together. Tuesday for the young bulls, but all are welcome. Current events is everybody's welcome. Thursday is for the old Lions, and it's going to be more conservative in nature. Sunday will be more progressive in nature, where we bring everybody together. Tuesday is liberal, Thursday is conservative, and progressive. Sunday is progressive when we have a major fight. Monday, I will drop a poll in the community thing. Wake up in the morning, as soon as I get up, I'm going to come up with something. You guys should just participate in that. It's going to be consistent, so you know, okay, Zone6 put up a poll. He also, because on Monday, I'm not going to be doing this video. This video is not going to be here anymore. This is the last off-schedule video that I will make unless there's some type of massive channel update. I'll slide that in now. And this is so like if Sunday I see something's going to come up, then I'll do this on Monday. But don't rely on this shit. This is just me getting the structure and the understanding down to a science, so you guys can have an idea of what's going on. Because I'm not going to be on here every day. Every day we got to get some structure. Now, debates. Okay, debates. If you want to debate somebody, what you need to do is you need to contact me. Down here at the bottom, it's scrolling across the screen. I'm going to start putting up my information so you guys can see it. It's been scrolling the whole time. Okay. Contact information. ZONE6boxing@gmail.com. If you want to challenge somebody, call me, let me know. Also, when the debate gets set up, I need you to send in this the Cash App down here at the bottom. That's my Cash App. I need you to connect with me on that so that I can give you your money if you are victorious in the debate. Okay, do we understand that? I'm gonna say it again so we don't have no misunderstanding for everybody that just joined. I'm not trying to get you to do the playback. I want you to hear it clear now. On Monday, I will set up a poll that is historical in nature that relates to Throwback Thursdays with the old Lions. I will then bring another poll out later that is current events and up to date in its nature on Tuesdays. So Tuesdays for the young bulls, we can talk about all the hypotheticals we want. Don't bring your condescending ass over here talking about this historical shit if you can't participate in the fights they don't. I don't give a fuck if you don't care about Canelo Benavidez in the proposed fight. I don't care if you want to talk about pay-per-view numbers. I don't give a fuck. Because on Thursday, I expect to see your historical ass ranking these heavyweights with me on Thursday. All are welcome, but let's get this shit straight now. Because see, these young boys, they come on here and they gonna talk this current event shit. And then on Thursday, I don't want to be sitting here keep asking who the fuck is the all-time great heavyweight. Can we get a rankings? And it's just me. And then the young boys show up to that. And then all the old lions sitting here crying, talking about how people disrespect history. I'm not going to hear that shit. No need to argue. No need to debate back and forth. It's all conversation. It's all in good fun because that's what the debate for. If a debate if a debate develops out of the young bull Tuesdays, in the current events, that's how it happens. If a debate develops out of the old lions talking about historical content, that's just how it does. It is what it is. Sunday is going to be a cleanup day. Like I said, if a major fight happens, then we'll come back and we'll revisit that Sunday brunch. Like I said, just think about it like this. Tuesday is the day for Taco Tuesday, hot dogs, hamburger. It's a cookout. We slamming dominoes. Everybody get to talk their shit. We drinking malt liquor. We got girls in the background shaking. It is what it is. Everybody having a good time. Talking about current events, having a good time. Just visualize that. On Thursday, you got to put on a suit and tie. We're going to be talking about Sam Langford. We're going to be talking about Ali. We're going to be talking about the historical context and contribution of these boxers to the boxing game. Don't come over here with that unruly shit. Don't come on here with no tank top on Thursday. Bring your ass in the suit and tie. I'm not talking about actually bringing in a suit and tie. I'm just saying metaphorically, that's how you need to be thinking. You ain't finna come on here Thursday and cussing people out, talking all that shit, spilling liquor all over the place. Nah, we smoking cigars and we drinking wine. We eat steak, lobster, and shrimp on Thursday. We're going to talk that big boy shit. And on Sunday, we can all come together when there's a major fight. We'll come back and we'll holler at each other on Sunday for a brunch where everybody can come together and we can do it like that. The debates, if you want to debate somebody, let me know. Ain't no need to argue with nobody and talk nobody to death. Let's get this shit done at the round table, like gentlemen. Current events, historical events, or a combination of both. The worlds can collide, however you choose to do it. I'm dropping the belts. I still currently have them. Nobody ain't said nothing about getting them. And until I heard everybody say they want them, but until these are, lifted off my hands, I'm still undisputed currently. That's just the way that is. Also, let me say this about Get This Smoke, right? Let me say this. I'm moving on from that. he did what he did. He said what he said. It's on record. The community is going to hold him accountable. His peers are. I have no bad blood with Smoke. Smoke is my friend. We talk. He's cool. Do I know the man personally? Absolutely not. He's a YouTube personality and he's cool. He's solid. I have no ill will toward him, and I'm not finna beat a dead horse or kick a man while he's down. He pretty much let himself do what he wanted to do in front of the whole entire YTBC. All right. And that's it. I'm not really finna debate on it too much more, but he can get into the debates if he like and retry to gain a belt if he want to call somebody out, right? And it's going to be what I said. I'm going to be the host, the moderator, and a judge. And I'm going to pick from the judges who are qualified, who expressed that they want to be judges. Blood Boxing said it. He said yay. Cardo said yay. Boxologist said yay. Hyplo said yay. Rollo has said yay. Those are the confirmed judges. And Puro, I haven't forgot about you. Puro said yay. It's going to be 3 people on the panel, the moderator, host, and judge, which is me, so we can consolidate the people. And then we got 2 other judges and the 2 combatants. That way we have control. That's how the debates is going to be set up. The judges are not negotiable, but however, you guys can set up whatever topics you want to set up that naturally falls into whatever it is. You can talk about Crawford as much as you want to over here. I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to judge it. And I will take debates and sub them in for the 11 o'clock block if you guys got that kind of time. I will sub in a historical debate block on Thursday if you guys want to do it like that. And then Sunday, I will be available for that. Regardless if a big fight happens or not, I will be available for debates on Sunday. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, I will take that slot initially, so you know that, but I am flexible to go with the schedule that is most conducive to the 2 combatants in the debate. Okay, you got my Cash App down here. Reach out, text me, email me, everything that you need when you get it together with your opponent. Only thing you got to do is challenge your opponent and get the details ironed out. The structure is already laid out in place for you. I just got to reach out to the judges and let them know. And you guys can pick which belt you want, and then you can go from there. Whichever color you think you like the most, we'll put it on the line. It doesn't matter. Also, let's talk about this. Let me talk about something that's real important, real quick. And I'm saying this with complete humility and complete respect. Now, I've got a couple of people. I got my Cash App down here. Let's make this extremely clear. And I'm not going to say it too much because I don't want to be disrespectful and I don't want to be condescending or arrogant, right? I want to be respectful, but I want to bring balance to this conversation because I'm not going to have this conversation again. This is about money. This is about donations. First of all, let me explain something to you. I don't need any donations. I don't need any money. I have no intentions on finessing anything from you guys at all. I've secured a pension for myself. I get paid to go to school. My school is free. And I got 8 years to use that to get a doctorate, a master's in associates, or 2 bachelors. I get paid just for living, just for waking up. I don't need any money. I don't need to extract or finesse or manipulate or talk anybody into something that they don't want to do. I don't need nobody's money at all. Now, I do accept you investing into the channel, not me. I'm just giving you my time and my energy, and I respect that. So I'm going to say I will open this up for donations. And I'm only saying that because I have received some people trying to contact me to contribute to the channel. And I'm very humble and I'm very grateful. And I almost sent it back, but I don't want to be disrespectful because I think now that people are comfortable with that from me. I think you guys know I don't need the money. I think you guys understand it. I'm not finna keep talking about that. I'm not finna be condescending and arrogant. And if you were to donate, you don't have to do it at all. But if you're going to donate, that is my Cash App down below. I will make it visible because the people who actually donated to me, I was surprised I was like, oh my God, I'm surprised. Okay. And I'm gonna make it easy for those who want to do it. And I'm not gonna put nobody business out. I don't talk about money. I don't talk about that. I'm not asking for it. It's down there. It's an unspoken thing. If it happens, it happens. Well, I'm going to use my funds to donate the events that I'm going to host. Now, if somebody else want to match that and they want to contribute privately, I believe in private donors. I don't believe in that talking shit. I am going to contribute that to the people, the people. If I get anything from people behind the scenes, I'm going to give it to you guys. And if you give me something and you want to be praised for it, let me know that. Say, hey man, I would like to, because I don't want to guess that shit. I don't play games with money. If you want to donate and you have to donate something and you want it to be discreet, I'm gonna assume that it's discreet. If you donate something and you want to be praised for it, I will say that and recognize you on my channel because you're investing in the people along with me. And then I will put the money toward whatever additional debate. I said I'm gonna put 50, but if I get a donation of $100, then I spread it out between the people. That's just, we'll handle it like that. That's just your donations, and I thank you, and I'm gonna thank the people for their time. This is not about me. This is about you guys. You guys say you want me to be here, I'm gonna be here. So let me say this one more time. Tuesday is for the young bulls and current events. Do not come over here being disrespectful to those young guys trying to insert historical knowledge and be condescending. Everybody is welcome, but it's dedicated to proposed fights that hadn't happened. They can talk about woulda, shoulda, coulda, all they fucking want on Tuesdays. And in a second, I'm finna open this up to talk to anybody else. Okay? Tuesday, they can get clarity. I want questions. And advice for this. I hear you, Shady Slim. You can get on here and explain super chats to me. This is something new. I'm gonna talk about that. I'll get advice on that behind the scenes. Shady, you still got my number. We'll talk about that offline because I'm very, very sensitive about economics. I'm very sensitive about that. That shit'll get me pissed off, and I won't even fuck with this shit. That shit I don't play with. I don't. But Tuesdays, I know them young boys gonna be here. That's gonna be fun. I love the energy. But I'm telling you, historians, I don't want to see this cocky shit. And on Thursday, I'm sitting here ranking this shit by myself. I want you guys to get your ass on here, and I want you to represent right, and I want you to show the young boys how to fuck it go. I don't want to hear this shit. I don't want to hear you too busy. I want you to bring all your Jack Johnson conversations on Thursday. Don't waste all your time on Tuesday talking about the hype. When I say, and they want to talk about Earl Spence on Tuesday, they can fucking do it. I don't give a fuck if you like it or not. Bring your ass on Tuesday. I mean, you can bring your ass on Tuesday, but bring your ass on Thursday. Because when I rank these heavyweights, I don't want to be just sitting here looking stupid by myself and everybody talking about how much of a fucking historian they is. But on Tuesday, the lit day. And IOTBA and all these motherfuckers coming on here and they snapping and we having a good ass time on Tuesday. And then Thursday, I don't hear a motherfucking thing about Sam Langford, Joe Jeanette, nobody. I don't want to hear that shit. So we're going to separate the two for some good order and some good discipline. And again, I say, on Sunday, after we get the conclusion of a major fight, then we can talk about it together. That's brunch. All the suit and tie historian niggas can come down, eat your eggs and walk for brunch. All the goons can come sit down and we can talk about it because it's a foregone conclusion. So I don't want to hear this. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Current events on Tuesdays, hypotheticals on Tuesdays. It is what it is. Thursday is Throwback Thursday. We're going to talk about this Thursday is ATG heavyweight rankings. I expect all of you who say you know boxing to bring your ass and bring your ass. Now you can criticize all the resume. You can do all that shit on Thursday. And young bulls, don't come on here with that crazy shit disrespecting the OGs because you're going to get your ass kicked off. OGs, don't come on here Tuesday trying to shit on these boys. No, it ain't going like that. If you feel some type of way, email me and there go the debate. There go the debate right there. and I set it up and we can get it cooking. No need to argue. Okay, last but not least, when it comes to smoke, I'm done with that. That is still my brother. I'm not here to, I like to talk my shit and keep it moving. That's done. He's out the way. He got a tournament to worry about. I'm not here to, he gave y'all all the information he wanted y'all to have by the stuff that came out of his mouth. The community will hold him accountable. I'm done with that. I'm not finna kick this man while he down. I'm not finna do this. D-Style, why are you lost? I'm talking about a schedule, D-Style. I said Tuesday I will be on here 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and I will be on here on Thursday, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm talking about my schedule and what it's going to be like from here on out. That's what I'm talking about, D-Style. It's nothing to be lost about. It's nothing to be lost. And I'm finna put this link in here so anybody can ask questions. So we won't, because this shit right here, this repeating yourself shit, I want to get to the bottom of that because I ain't finna keep on telling you guys the same thing. I've already got the schedule up for Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 o'clock. Go check my community page. I'm going to put 2 polls up on Monday related to Thursday and related to Tuesday. There's going to be a poll asking a question specifically about Thursday in a related topic. D-Style, on Thursday, we're doing a ATG heavyweight rankings. I expect you to be there. That's what I'm talking about right there. All right? That's what I'm saying. All the guys, because you're not finna keep shitting on these new guys. And like, I'm not limited. I'm going to talk about current events and I'm going to talk about historical events. I'm just saying that you could come or you don't. But I don't want to hear this nonsense about when the fuck did all of a sudden, like D-Style, you did a good video yesterday, right? But I want to hear that when it's time with other historians. That's all I'm saying. All right? And if you must donate, I'm telling you, if you must, do it discreetly, and I'm going to put it back into the people and the debaters. Because last time I'm saying this because I don't want to disrespect the people who sought me out to give me a donation. I don't need it, and I'm not going to repeat that again. This is structure we're talking about. Zone 6 rules and laws moving forward on this platform. That's what I'm talking about. That's what the title. You guys got to stop coming on somebody's channel just doing a thumbs up just to show that you're there and not listen to the whole fucking video and then expect that's how that go. When I get on you guys' shit, I listen to your video in its entirety. That's what I do. I don't come on, click it, and get the fuck off. I don't do that. That's bullshit. So, is there any questions? Let me tell you something. I'm not here, and I'm telling you this now. I'm not finna fuck with Smoke. I'm not, and what I'm talking about is I'm not finna, he's done what he had to do. I fuck with him. I'm not finna kick this man while he down. He's still my brother. It's over. We pay. He got tough skin. I got tough skin. We're done. Okay. Now we can talk about some other shit. Don't get it twisted now. But I'm not finna do that. It was cool yesterday, but we that's in the past. Let's move the fuck on because he's still a community member, and I'm not big on because he got a tournament to focus on, and I want him to go in there with all clarity, and I want him to try to have a try to win the tournament. He don't need to be harassed and bothered and shit like that. The same thing with Blood. You guys around here, you can't be trolling the OG, harassing him and bullshitting when this man contributions is a wide range of good shit within the community. Boxing Librarian, the same thing, man. You guys got to kind of have some kind of civil discourse. It's cool to talk shit. I do it all the time, but it is what it is. So the panel is open. I dropped the link. Do anybody got any questions or any advice or suggestions that they're going to implement on their own fucking channel that they think I should maybe consider? But you better be doing that shit on your channel too. You ain't finna run my shit. Okay, let me drop the link again because this is just a maintenance call. This is a final video on how this gonna go and how this gonna work. I'm not finna keep telling you guys and begging you guys to come on for Tuesday to talk about current events. Thursday, I'm not finna beg the historians to come on. I'll rank it and do it by my goddamn self. I'm gonna leave the option up to you to do what it is that you want to do with the contact information and the donations. So I'm going to introduce Blood and Hyplo, and I want to hear what they want to talk about for as advice, structure moving forward. And I expect to see these two guys here on Thursday for this all-time ranking list. Here go Blood, and here is the OG legend, my boy Hyplo. What's up, fellas?
What's up, bro?
What's going
What's up,
on?
the Apple and Zone, man?
Blood. Saludos, bro.
Hey man, what y'all got on Thursday, man? I got my channels structured shit together. 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. I'll be going live.
I want to come on Tuesday, bro. Honestly,
You can. You
I
welcome.
want to come on Tuesday because I feel like these kids don't know shit about what's going on in boxing right now.
Okay, you can do that. But we're gonna be talking about Benavidez.
Smoke them on that shit. I want to know who they picked in all these fights that we pick, because we pick all the fights.
That's right. But on Tuesday, we're gonna be talking about proposed fight between Benavidez and Canelo. We're gonna be talking about the Terrence Crawford interview on $1 Million Worth of Game, and we're gonna be talking about pay-per-view numbers as it pertains to Devin Haney, and as it pertains to Tank, and how it might potentially impact their fight or not. That's what we're gonna be talking about.
Yeah, current boxing.
Yeah, and then we can talk about it. And on Thursday, you say you want Tuesday, but Thursday I just said
No, I want the Jits.
Okay. Yeah, but Thursday we'll be ranking all-time great heavyweights. We're trying to get a top 10 list together. We want to know about that though. You're a historian. Will you be there for that?
Oh, for sure, bro. That's a good.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I want to know.
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you can come to both. Listen, you could come to both. I'm just saying on Tuesday, we're not going to disrespect those young bulls. And on Thursday,
no, I'm going to talk to them about the current shit. That's
they're not going to disrespect y'all on Thursday.
It's not going to be about James Fig on Tuesday. I get it.
Right. That's all you can but you can do your thing. I'm down for it. I'm with whatever. I like it. I just want to get I want to create a space for everybody to be able to cook and do what they got to do. And then it's going to be very, very fun. And if debate spun out of that,
I like it.
Yeah. So that's what you guys can expect from me Monday. Please check the community poll because there's going to be a throwback Thursday question pertaining to the ATG heavyweights. I asked this morning, and I'm going to ask the all-time great question for Throwback Thursday first so guys can get time to research. I asked, out of the black heavyweight murderers row, who do you got as the best? I put Sam Langford in there, Sam McVeigh. I put Joe Jeanette. I put Harry Wells in there. Exactly. Yeah, there it is. So we'll see. And then we'll see how people participate in the poll. And then as soon as I get off here, I'm going to create one later about a proposed fight and who you think going to win between Canelo Alvarez and Benavidez. TKO, decision, or vice versa for Canelo Alvarez, or draw to keep it fresh.
Sound good, bro.
Yes, sir. So we'll hopefully, man, we see everybody on Thursday, and hopefully we can get it in. Anything y'all got, man, that y'all want to talk about, chop it up about?
Hey, man, you said something about some. Now we don't have to get into the discussion now since you're going to have it as a subject. But did them Devin Haney numbers drop yet? Did they drop already? That's all I want to know. Yeah,
they kind of dropping. They trying to say 150. You know what I'm saying? Pay-per-view. That's what they say. But when it comes to those numbers, personally, I don't really give a fuck about the numbers. But I do like to hear what people think they know about the numbers. It's always a cool subject. It don't matter who do something about pay-per-view numbers. I don't even care. I don't even track that shit. But I do like to hear what people say who do track pay-per-view numbers.
Wow. So what they're saying 150,000. Now this is the first time hearing about it.
Yeah, 150.
I got some things on my mind, but I'll save it for two. What time are you coming on Tuesday and Thursday? What's the time?
11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, every Tuesday and every Thursday. Watch for the sweep.
All right.
Yeah, because I was confirming with the guys in California time, to make sure that that works, and they say they like it, and they're getting up and they're on it.
The only thing I gotta interrupt you. The only thing is my son's graduation may be happening around that time on Thursday. I gotta double check that, but I'll definitely be there Tuesday. But I'll try to make it Thursday as well.
No doubt. I'll do a short every Wednesday to galvanize the OGs and the historians about whatever it is that we're gonna do, and then I'll come up with another concept next Thursday for throwbacks. And we may just profile one particular fighter. It might not be heavyweight. It might be actually what do we truly think about, Sugar Ray Leonard, actually. What do we think about, Roberto Duran at lightweight? What about Shane Mosley? We're gonna profile, we're gonna do some creative things on Thursday, which you'll know you'll know next week. But this week is the all-time great heavyweight rankings 1 through 10. If we could come to one, it's going to be a panel of historians. I think Boxology is going to be there. I'm going to be there. Blood probably show up, and we're just going to go around the room. You get to nominate who you got number one, and you're going to say said fighter. Everybody agreed. We good. We move on. Who you got number two? That's where the debate going to kick off at, or the conversation going to kick off at. Why you got that person number two, and it's going to be fun. So hopefully we can get that done and see what everybody know on the spot, and we can educate the new boxing fans, and they can sit back and learn something and really see what the OGs really know in real time, live in HD. And some of these guys can take notes, and they can move on and probably go research some of this shit over the weekend. That's why it's Thursday. So all right, we'll be.
You gonna put them belts on the line?
That's just the belt's gonna be on the line for a debate. If you spawn a debate from there, then you can call somebody out. It ain't no need for no debate belts when it's 5 people on there going against each other. This is to see where your head is.
There ain't no reason for me or Blood to debate anybody on here.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, you say that, but I don't know why.
Because we're too advanced. So
what I'm saying for hyper. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to debate nobody. But we talking about on Throwback Thursdays when like me, boxologist, you were on the panel, and then like that kind of person. I'm not talking about IOTV. When we get on that Thursday and me and boxologist on the panel, if he's there, or you or Hyplo, whoever you. So
it's a discussion. It's a discussion that could be a debate.
Hey, yo, I gave IOTBA a seizure, bro.
Okay, watch this. I know because you like to keep talking about everybody else, right? So this is what we'll do. Let me give you an example. Who do you got ranked number 1 heavyweight of all time?
I would say Ali, but Lewis is close.
I agree with Ali being number 1 all time. Who you got, Blood?
Man, you know who it is, bro.
Ali, right?
Man.
Okay,
it's Ali.
See how that go, right? So now let's check out number 2.
As far as being an icon, I would put Lewis first.
Okay, so you got to tell us what that means, because we got to get a.
There's a difference between, and this is the thing that got failed to really come out in the last debate that you had. There's a difference between who's better and who was more of an icon. Now, if you look at Joe Louis and what he did for the world, and how popular this man really was in his prime, in his day, fighting the Billy Khans and fighting the fucking Schmellings and shit. Like, he was the biggest star in the whole wide world, period. Bigger than fucking Winston Churchill, bigger than fucking Roosevelt, bigger than fucking Hitler. He beat up fucking Hitler's boy and smacked him down. Like, there's no one who's ever going to come close to that. Never. Okay? But as far as being a great heavyweight, I'll give it to Ali, but Joe Louis was on a different level as far as stardom goes.
So, with all-time great for me, I'm looking at accolades, your accomplishments, the belts. I'm looking at your resume, who you fought, and why they're significant and why they're important. And I'm looking at your cultural impact. I would argue that when you start talking about impact or cultural impact, I would say that Muhammad Ali historically has a greater impact than Joe Louis, due to the fact that he represented black folks at the time when they was most needed. Also, he made a stand and he got entire laws changed, because if it weren't for Ali, most of you guys would have been serving in the military with me because the draft was still being stated. But due to Ali, we have the freedom for you guys to join the military on a volunteer basis. That was way more historical than everything that Joe Louis has ever done. Because without that,
really, because Joe Louis actually joined the military and
absolutely.
went in.
And absolutely. And when you join the military,
Right.
they have he joined the military.
Don't disrespect the man for that.
Okay, so when you join the military, because I was in and you haven't served. They have
I have not served.
Okay,
no.
so
I'm way too old to join, but
right.
He did.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what he was doing in the Army. Okay. The Army standard
was on some like publicity shit.
Yeah, the Army standard for
like Elvis.
The Army standard for scoring and requirements is the lowest of all the branches. I was in the Navy. That's the highest standard of all the branches, along with the Air Force. So only thing you're doing when you say you join the military, which is the Army, and you're going to do exhibitions and you're going to be a part of the NWR. NWR is morale, warfare, and recreation.
Look,
so you're
doing all I'm gonna say is, bro,
you're doing
you can't sit on the man for a second.
Hold on, man. You gotta stop talking. You just said what you said. I'm giving my piece. You got a problem with that. So what I'm saying is that's not necessarily. It's not like he was on the front line. What battles did he complete? What was his evaluations in the Army? What was his rank? Everybody keep talking about that, but what was his rank in the Army? What was his MOS in the Army? Huh? What battles did he lead in World War II? He wasn't on D-Day.
He won the biggest battle of World War II, single combat against Max Schmeling.
Okay. Yeah, so in order to leave an impact, if you're going to talk about the military, you got to achieve rank. You got to achieve certain medals. You know what I'm saying? And you got to achieve certain things. So when you guys start saying he was boxing, yeah, you're going to be boxing, but you're really just doing an intramural type of functioning for the troops to boost morale. So Joe Louis is really going to be protected, and he's just traveling abroad. They set up the boxing rings, and then he fights. We used to get it all the time in the Navy. Cuba Gooding Jr., all kind of celebrities will come out there to do a morale tour, and then they would leave. And they would get all these distinguished misnomers as if though they was out on the deployment serving. No, they came out there for 2 weeks, and they got them out of there before we hit the Gulf.
Yeah, but Zone, are you seriously saying to me that this man didn't do more as a single person to defeat Germany than he did when he beat Max Schmeling that night?
No, because first of all, a boxing match has nothing to do with real war. That's just
it does, bro. Have you ever heard of single combat?
It has nothing to do with
a boxing. Have you ever heard of Achilles versus whoever?
Hector? Achilles versus Hector?
Yeah.
I clearly have, because I'm naming names, but we digress.
That's a good one. I'm glad you said it.
What I'm saying is this.
Because when he beat Hector, that's when the fucking war turned.
Listen to what I'm saying. You have never served. I have. So you're trying to
explain to me. I'm not saying I have served, sir. And I respect you for having
I understand. Served. But listen, this is what I'm telling you. This is why the shit don't work on Thursdays, because you guys want to, like, can you learn something from somebody else? I heard your perspective. And this is why nobody respects the OGs and shit you talking about, because every time somebody try to get a word out, you guys want to stomp down and start talking about shit that's irrelevant.
Hey, I haven't been saying much, bro.
I'm not
gonna let anyone shit on Joe Louis.
You don't have listen. You don't have a choice. It's not shitting on him. That's the bullshit that people talking about. I didn't shit on him at all. I'm telling you, as a military service person who was a fucking nationally ranked recruiter and have high evaluations, who's showing you the medals, I'm telling you what they do. And you're sitting here talking about what is and what ain't. The man was he joined the Army, but he was a prop to boost morale. That is not the same. You guys are talking about like Joe Louis went out there and caught a couple of bodies.
I agree with that. Listen, I agree with that, sir. And I respect you for your service. No doubt. I give you all the props in the world for that, brother. And there's no one who can take that away from you. Not me, not blood, not nobody.
Yeah, I'm not asking your approval. We're not. It's not this circle jerk. We're having a conversation.
Hang on. Let me land the plane. Land the plane real quick.
Yeah.
Before Joe Louis went in the army, and whatever rank he got, maybe he was a corporal. I don't even fucking know, honestly.
You can't be a corporal. You can't be a corporal in the army, man. What are you talking about?
I can look it up.
Yeah, you need
to see what his rank was. However, I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm telling you, what he did against Max Schmeling was the most important thing that anybody did, because you got to understand, bro, that they were saying that people were mongrel races. Okay, like Jesse Owens too, honestly. What Jesse Owens did and what Joe Louis did was worth more to the war effort than anything else that really was done. And like, you can't take that away from that man, bro. No matter what his rank was. And I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay, also, shout out to the soldiers, the fighters who did serve in the war and do and actually fight in battles. Edgar Bad News Wallace, look him up. The guy fought heavy machine gun battles. Zora Foley fought in battle. There was a few of them out there that did. So I want to give respect to those guys who actually went to war and had to dodge bullets and shit like that. Edgar Bad News Wallace, his story is he took over by himself. He had to go out there and he had to fight battles and carry dead bodies and all kinds of stuff. And he won all kinds of medals for that. So, there are fighters out there who did actually
respect to them.
Fight. They did fight.
So what I'm saying, as in comparison to Ali, because this light work, it's just two people. We ain't gonna go further than this. Ali made it possible for people not to experience what Joe Louis had experienced by being forced into the army, to be paraded around as morale relief. And on top of that, he donated all his money to the army efforts. And then they came back and stuck the man after knowing that. And that's why Muhammad Ali impact was more of an impact than Joe Louis being forced into compliance and to serve for them to fuck him over at the end of his career. So when you look at Joe Louis serving the army, I respect it. I love it, but I know what it was for. I respect the fact that Ali stood up against that, made a sacrifice, made a statement in the judicial system within the United States that's nationwide, worldwide, in the most powerful country ever to exist at this current moment. Ali refused to do that, and he changed it for everybody like yourself so that you wouldn't have to
respect that too.
That's a greater impact.
But you can't.
Listen, Joe Louis, hold on. Which one? Let me ask you a question. Which one is more lasting? Joe Louis' service in the army or Ali's getting that draft legislation repealed?
Look, I don't think if you put up a poll right now, most people would click on Ali. And I understand that because he's more recent. You gotta understand, Ali was still fighting in the 80s, bro. Like,
yeah.
So his legacy is more fresh. But what I'm here to say, as what you call historians, I would just say people who are well informed. Joe Louis was bigger than Ali in his day.
Well, you raised the point about military service to justify why you were saying he's bigger than Ali. So sticking with that particular...
No, because you said that Ali refused military service. So I brought up Louis and the fact that he went in for military service.
Right. And then I'm countering you because we're talking about this because this is a typical conversation about Joe Louis and Ali, and you're the person to have it with, or in blood. The problem is that is absolutely conflated when it comes to Ali, because the truth of the matter is there's a lot of white patriots and white nationalists that hate Ali due to the fact that he didn't join because they felt he should have done it. The reason Joe Louis get a lot of credit is because he complied with the white supremacist system at the time. That is a factor. Ali was rebellious. You're always going to get the person who's considered token and more compliant with the system. Although they fucked them, they're going to praise that person in white history as opposed to universal history like Ali. Ali's going to get that credit because he made a stand, but it's kind of more so along with anti-military guys, and it's more so with Black America. Joe Louis
listen, I understand all that, and I support Ali's decision not to fight in Vietnam, because I agree with what he said. It was a stupid war. It was a CIA prop war. Now, when you're talking about World War II, though, that was not a fucking prop war. That was a war for actually the domination of the world at the time. And, you know, whether you want to say Joe Louis was compliant or like make him out to be some kind of like yes man, or he was just a quiet dude, bro. Like, he wasn't the outspoken, you know, yelling in the fucking camera type of guy that Ali was. But does that mean that he was not worth remembering or worth getting his proper due? No, it doesn't. And like you can make it about, you know, being rebellious or not rebellious. Like, okay, whatever you prefer, sir. But
Haplo, I have something else to add too, man.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Let me just finish real quick,
yes,
Blood,
sir.
and I'll pass it off to you.
Okay.
You can't just negate Joe Louis by saying that he was compliant and blah 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 blah. He was a fucking man who stood up. He got the fucking title. He had to fucking sacrifice a lot, bro, to get that title, even to get the title shot. Think about what he gave up to Braddock, bro. Braddock, the Cinderella man, they say he was. He had to give up his purses and all that kind of stuff. Like, no, Joe Louis deserves some goddamn respect. And look, Ali was great and everything he did was great. But don't fuck with Joe Louis. Go ahead, Blood.
Well, I think one of the things that helped Ali, just like what helped Floyd Mayweather received a lot of assistance around that 2003 to 2004 time period because of the internet. The internet was getting a lot bigger. There was more computers in the household, and then we was able to go over to social media. With Ali came around during the mass production of television sets too. That's another thing that helped with Ali's popularity. Joe Louis had to do this with the radio audience, and newspapers and all of that. So the time period was a little bit different. We were going through a transition with the mass production of TV sets. So that's one of the things that helped Ali. As far as like the popularity thing, the demographic that followed Joe Louis, them guys are all dead now. They're not around no more. So most people are going to, that's why I like that point you made, Haplo, with Ali being more recent. Not only that, the introduction of mass production and television sets, just like the assistance Floyd Mayweather received with the internet. Before the internet, when nobody following Floyd Mayweather like that, what helped him out a lot was the internet. He got more eyes, more people had more eyes on him. That's the same thing that happened with Ali. I'm going to leave it at that, man, and go ahead and let y'all continue to cook, though, for right now.
Yeah, so I'm passing the Wayne talk, but we're saying who's the best heavyweight. You agree that it is Ali, right? So we already understood that. But
fighting wise, in the ring, Ali was better than Joe Louis. But
right.
But what I did say was as far as being an icon,
Right.
Joe Louis was better, more of an icon than Ali.
Right. And I'm disagreeing with that because
in his time.
Right. And I got you. In his time, because you can't beat him in his time, right? So Ali in his time. But what we're doing as historians, not as casual fans, we're splitting hairs to compare what the statement is. And what I'm saying to you is, you mentioned his war efforts. You don't know his rank. You don't know his contributions outside of the fact that he was putting on an exhibition run. He didn't fight in any battles. Blood just gave you what he was actually doing in examples of fighters who fought in battles. And I'm just telling you that Ali has a legislation track that is still conducive
Did
to.
Ali fight in any battles?
Yeah, he fought against the United States government.
Did he fight in any war battles?
No, because he refused to go to Vietnam. That makes sense. He wouldn't fight in any battle.
So how does that make him better than Joe Louis?
I'm saying his impact. I want you to get.
I don't know his rank, bro. But
listen,
what I do know.
Listen. What I want you to do.
I'm just gonna say it one more time.
Listen, Hyplo. Listen, what I'm saying.
Max Smelling in front of the whole world.
I'm gonna say this, Hyplo. You gotta let me talk and you talk. Everybody's rotating,
bro.
Everybody's rotating.
I just don't like the way that people fuck with Joe Louis like that, bro.
So control your emotions. Okay, we just having a civil conversation. We supposed to be guys who are historians, and you talking like one of the new guys.
No.
Okay, listen. I'm not. Listen. Do this favor for me. Don't try to assume what you think I'm doing. Just make your points. Okay. Don't worry about me. That's the problem. What I'm saying is this: for me, okay, it don't matter if it's in opposition to what you think. You're gonna have to just swallow that pill. As a person who served in the military, I have clear understanding on what a celebrity does when he's in the military. And it's not related to battle or anything along those lines to complete missions.
Well, what about that Smelling fight, though?
And I'm telling you that Ali was stripped because he stood up for something that you guys still benefit from to this day, not being drafted. As a recruiter, I can't knock on your door and say, you come. Go ahead.
I understand that. I just want you to know. I get it. Ali, I'm not saying like there's anything wrong. Look, I love Ali. And I was alive. I met Ali, actually. So, the guy was a fucking icon, no doubt. But the thing that people like me and maybe Blood and other people like us want to get across to people is let's remember the other guys too, like Joe Louis, and he was a fucking icon. And there were like massive fucking celebrations when he would win a fight in Harlem, in various different places in the United States, because he was. Regardless of whether he was compliant or not, which he was, and quiet, and that was just his personality. But he still meant a lot to people, and he meant a lot in a time where the world was at war for domination of the fucking world, and he was the guy who went in single combat. Like Achilles, like you said, he went in single combat and went in there and destroyed that fucking Nazi.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this. Don't interrupt me again because I just let you talk again. I'm gonna throw you out of here because this is ridiculous. You're supposed to be a historian. Control your emotions. I'm not shitting on Joe Louis. Stop saying that. For the audience, I'm not shitting on Joe Louis. I'm talking about the impact with their military track. That's what we're talking about. The more cultural and invaluable impact was what Ali did as opposed to Joe Louis. I'm saying to you again that you don't even know his rank. You don't really know his contributions to any missions within.
I conceded that, bro.
All right. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So you conceded that. So therefore, you're going against your own point and your own premise. I'm telling you that what Ali did was way more impactful. They stripped the man of his title and robbed him of his prime because he stood up for something that he believed in, all because they was trying to draft this man into a war that didn't make sense to him, therefore leading to legislation that relieved people from having to be drafted regardless. Most of you guys at your age would have had to go to Desert Storm and Desert Shield in the war on terrorism. Some of you guys might not even be here. Some of you might be dead. Okay? See, I went to the war on terrorism. I volunteered. You guys didn't, because why? Because legislation had been passed where they couldn't knock on your door and say during September 11th, bring yourself here. That is a long-lasting impact than whatever you saying Joe Louis did as a celebrity that went on a morale tour. I like it. I'm not mad at it. I fuck with it. I rock with it. Cuba Gooding Jr. played so many military roles, and he's been on the ship multiple times. But it ain't the same, bro. That's all I'm saying. Ali has a better and bigger cultural impact when it comes to the military science and the military conversation that people tend to have between the two. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead, Wayne, talk.
I understand where Haplo is coming from, though, because you know, there was a time where Joe Louis was highly regarded. I don't personally know that the impact Joe Louis had, other than newspaper articles and what the historians have said and through reading, because I wasn't alive during that era. I did catch a little bit of the Ali era, the end of the Ali era when he was way past his prime, but I knew the impact that Ali had. Ali did have the assistance of television sets, like I said before. So I really get where he's coming from. This is something that's up for debate, but the truth of the matter is none of us was alive during Joe Louis's reign, so we don't really know the impact. Who has the bigger impact? It's kind of hard to.
But should we forget him though?
We do know that they both
should we
had a heavy impact in the sport of boxing, and they took it beyond the sport by doing things outside of the ring. The whole thing, I get where you're coming from too, Zone, because you're basically talking about the whole thing with the Army in regards to Joe Louis going to the Army, in regards to Ali not going to the Army. And you're saying that the bigger impact was that Ali stood against the machine and did not go to the Army. They reclassified him. I believe in 1966, they reclassified him. And
which was the right move.
You know, Ali had to fight against that system for quite some time. So exactly. Both of them have a heavy impact on the sport. Both of them did great things. And who did the most, who had the bigger legacy as far as outside of the ring, that's up for debate.
Right. And that's why Ali is regarded as the greatest and not Joe Louis. Like, you don't get people saying the greatest of all time is Joe Louis. He's ranked. Okay, so Hyplo, this is not me shitting on him again. This is me giving him credit, but proper credit. See, and I think that's where things get distorted. I'm not saying Joe Louis is fucking 40th. I just put Mike Tyson and all these guys in front. What I'm saying is, when it comes to Ali and Joe Louis, I'm saying that Ali edges him out. That's what I'm saying.
Well, Joe Louis's biggest accomplishment
can I say something
is
real
the
quick?
color line.
Can I say something real quick?
Zone, real quick, I gotta jump off. My phone's about to die, but I'll say this: both of them fought everybody in their eras. It's just that Ali had better competition, and that's why I put Ali above Joe Louis. But you keep going back to this thing of what he ranked, and he served in the military symbolically, which I agree with. But what you don't want to address is that fight with Max Schmeling and what the impact that had on the world. Okay.
Yeah, I do want to address it. You got to go, so go ahead. We'll get back to Max Schmeling.
I'm going to charge my phone. I'll come back if need be.
Yeah, we'll get back on that on Thursday. But go ahead, Wayne. Talk. You got the flow.
Okay, so I believe I had a discussion before. I believe we did have this discussion before, offline. But this is what I'm gonna say about Joe Louis. First of all, the time that he grew up in, and the time in the era that he was raised in, is a totally different era than we were raised in. And this is one thing I don't like. I don't like people from this era talking about what they wouldn't have done if they grew up in that era, because you can say that, that you what you would have done and what you wouldn't have done because you didn't grow up in that era. It's hard for me to go put myself in Joe Lewis's shoes and say, you know what, I would have acted like Jack Johnson. I wouldn't have acted like Joe Lewis because I don't know the premise and why Joe Lewis took the deals he took. I have a guess of why he did that. Largely because back then those guys did not control their boxing careers, and especially after Jack Johnson did what he did as far as being rebellious and all that stuff. They did not want black guys to do that what Jack Johnson did. So Joe Lewis had to capitulate to a lot of things because they said, first of all, if you knock out a white guy, you beat a white guy, we don't want you celebrating. We don't want you doing anything flamboyant and nothing like that. So the hand that he had to deal with back then that we don't have to deal with now, I'm not going to criticize that man for taking the choice that he did. Is he a bigger icon than Ali? Well, see, this is the thing. This is the thing. Ali was more flamboyant. Ali was more loud, right? He was the opposite of what Joe Lewis was. And plus Ali did some great things on top of that. Ali did some wonderful things in the ring. Outside the ring, I do respect Ali for not going to the service because of his religious beliefs. The man stood on his religious belief. That's a great thing. The man put his money where his mouth is, because some people say that they religious and when the stuff hit the fan, they back down. So at least Ali stood his ground, and that's great, and that was a great thing he did. But also on the flip side, if Joe Lewis wanted to go to the army because he loved his country, that's great too. Both of them are great because they both stood on what they stood on, and they stood on what they believed in. Joe Lewis believed that he should serve, and he served. Ali believed in that his religious belief said that he can't join the army and do the things that was necessary to accomplish. And he said, no, I don't want to do that because of my religious beliefs, and I'm highly religious. So that was great too. So I don't know why people try to combat the two and try to put the two against each other, because they were both decisions made by both two men that had conviction in what they believed in. So I'm not going to say one is better than the other. As far as icons, Joe Lewis is just as great of an icon as Ali, period. Joe Lewis dominated the heavyweight division in his era, just like Ali dominated the heavyweight division in his era. And as far as the outside the ring, the things that they did, they both did great things. So no, I don't see Ali as being a greater icon than Joe Lewis because he was louder and more flamboyant. No, it's the same thing with Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan. Kobe Bryant gets the moniker of being a bigger icon than Tim Duncan because Tim Duncan was not flamboyant. His game wasn't flamboyant. But what people don't realize is Tim Duncan actually had a better career when you look at the statistics and the accomplishments, better than Kobe Bryant. Tim Duncan is 5-1 in the finals. He's 1 3-point shot away from being 6-0 in the finals. But people don't give Tim Duncan his credit because he wasn't loud, he wasn't flamboyant. That just wasn't his style. So going back to Joe Lewis and Ali, no, Ali is not a greater icon than Joe Lewis. No, he's not, because he didn't want to go to the war because his religious beliefs. I'm not going to put both of them, those two decisions, against each other. Both of them was great decisions for two great men. That's my take.
Okay, let me add on to something before Zone gets back on here. Joe Lewis, if he didn't take those sacrifices, we might not even have an Ali, because he was dealt a shitty hand. He had to take part in erasing the color line. That's something that he had to do, and he had to take shitty deals to do that, which they said all those terms for him. Don't take a picture with a white woman. Don't celebrate over fallen white opponents. They had a set of guidelines for Joe Lewis. Joe Lewis had to take that stance. He couldn't take Ali's stance. If he took Ali's stance, he wouldn't have got the fights. So he had to take part in erasing the color line, which him doing that created an avenue for Ali to do the things that he did in the 1960s. The 1960s and the 1930s, two different decades. Joe Lewis had to take part in erasing the color line. If he didn't take part and erase that color line, there wouldn't have been that avenue for Ali to do all that talking. If Ali, okay, let's put Ali in a time machine and put him in Joe Lewis's time period, he wouldn't have got those fights with that attitude. They might have even barred him from radio events, TV, all kinds of stuff like they were doing other black fighters of that time.
Yeah, so
you talk about Ike Williams a lot. Okay, Ike Williams was one of the guys who felt that wrath of the color line. He would have been much bigger, him and Carter and all of those guys, Bojack, if that color line had been erased. But Joe Louis was at that time still erasing the color line.
Well, I hear what you're saying, and you make a good point, but your points is based on imagination, right?
It's not based on imagination. It's reality. He had to take shitty deals to erase the color line. That's a fact.
I'm saying when you say propose a thought that if he was back in his time, I don't know what would have happened if he was back in his time. I don't know what would have happened if Joe Louis would have.
If Ali and Joe Louis switched places.
Yeah, I don't see. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so I don't know that. Just like Wayne talked about.
Just use your common sense. Okay, place Ali in 1935. Do you really think that they would have let Cassius Clay get away with saying all of that stuff he got away with saying in 1960?
Well, we saw him do it. They didn't let him get away with it, so they tried to strip. Like this, the thing about Ali, we saw him actually be rebellious, so we don't have to pretend like we need to put him back in somebody's era. We saw what he did in his era, just like we saw what Joe Louis did in his era. I'm not trying to conflate the two. I'm just looking at what they actually did. I don't have to mix and match it. I'm telling you that we saw
we do it all the time. You mix and match it whenever you feel it's convenient.
But I'm not mixing and matching it now, though, blood.
Okay,
I'm not mixing and matching it now. We saw. Hold on. We saw what Ali did when he was faced with that same challenge. That's what I'm telling you. Mm-hmm. And then when it comes to Joe Louis, he erased the color line because as soon as he won the title, they disbarred the color championship. So he played a hand in the degradation of a black title that was already established before that particular title.
Hey, Zone, a lot of historians will tell you if Joe Louis didn't take that deal the way he took that deal and act like he was supposed to act, he was not going to be successful. They was not going to let him be. Hold on. They was not. Hold on.
No, we're not going to do that because you just talked about Tim Duncan and basketball for 30 minutes. You're not going to do that. So what I'm telling you is, he is the reason why the Black Murderers Row title is not in existence anymore. What he would have done is he would have been fighting Obi Walker and those black champions. But because he jumped in and decided to be compliant, which I ain't mad at him. Y'all, I'm not telling you that it's a bad thing. I'm just telling you, you don't know who got a greater impact. So there's nothing else for you to say. You say you're split. I'm telling you, I know that Ali, in my opinion.
Yeah, your opinion. Okay.
In your opinion, Zone.
Yeah, in your opinion, not the truth.
Now, how you gonna come in here and tell us what we don't know, Zone, and then you know it?
And you got an opinion on it.
Dude, this is what I'm telling you. It's your opinion as well too. You're saying you don't know. Blood is saying he don't.
I ain't say I don't know. I said neither one of these guys have a greater impact on the sport or a bigger icon than the other one.
Okay,
like, you don't. Hold on.
It means you don't know.
It's not. No. I'm not confused. Zone. Stop.
No, I didn't say you could. Look, I said you picking both. You picking both, right?
Stop, Zone. Stop, man. Stop.
It ain't just stop. You're not
every time. It don't have to be either or every time.
Listen,
life is not about either or all the time. Stop it.
For you,
yeah, life. No. Listen, period. Life is not either or all the time.
It don't have to be for you. That's what you feel.
Man. Life is not either or all the time.
You made your statement. What I'm telling you is, you said it's a balance. Blood is saying it's a balance. Cool. I'm telling you based on what I saw and heard and read that.
Tell me why Ali is a better icon. Tell me, because I hear your premise.
Okay, when Hyplo proposed the military part, that's what I'm talking about.
Why the military part is the divider for you?
No, I explained it already.
I hear you though.
Okay, well, I was saying that because of the long-lasting impact of Ali refusing the draft, that opened up the door for legislation to have you guys not automatically be drafted. I was a recruiter. Back then, you could come knock on the door and say, Wayne Talk, you going to goddamn war. I can knock on Blood door and say, hey, come on, bring your ass, you going to goddamn war. Ali said, no, I'm not going to let you guys do that. I'm going to refuse that. And why I like that so much, because it gave you guys a choice.
So hold on. Legislation was passed because of what Ali did? I need to see proof of that. I need to see proof of that.
Yeah, once he didn't go to the draft,
I need to see proof of that. That Ali was the one that changed that. I don't know that. I never seen proof of that before.
Yeah, once the Supreme Court ruled in his favor, they can't. The draft is no longer in effect because
no, Zone, no. They can still have a draft. They can still have a draft right now today if they wanted to. They can still have a draft right now today if they wanted to. Zone. The only reason why is the only thing that the Supreme Court did rule on, they ruled on that you don't have to go to war if your religious belief is against it. Not that we're gonna take out the draft completely for everybody, because everybody's not gonna have that same luxury.
So let me ask you a question. So you finna tell me, did you get drafted during September 11th, the war on when we declared war on terrorism? Did you get drafted?
No.
Your religious belief didn't have nothing to do with it, right?
No, I'm saying you saying the draft. You saying they're never gonna have a draft. They can never have a draft again. Is that what you're saying?
That's not what the fuck I just said.
Or the draft is not in effect again. The draft is not in effect.
Listen what I said. I said Ali refusing to do that. The Supreme Court ruled in his favor.
I know that
allows you guys not to be called up by a recruiter, which I was. I keep saying that part, to knock on your door and say, "Hey, bro, the Congress has declared war on said nation. You have to be drafted." It allows you to refuse that and not even join the military. So what I'm telling you is that legislation is more impactful.
I'm gonna read that legislation, man, because I don't think it says that. I'm gonna read it though. As soon as we get done with this, I'm gonna read it.
All right, go ahead. Figure it out. So
I'm gonna read it.
That's what I'm saying. So what was the outcome? So when the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Ali, right? What was the cause and effect of that?
That you no longer have to go to the war if your religious beliefs is against it. That's what I keep saying. Now he did. Now, if you want to say, okay, well, by him changing that, he's a bigger icon. That's fine. You can say that because that did have a long lasting effect because we still talking about it. People still talking about it right now today because he decided not to go to war. So yeah, I mean, if you want to say that makes him a bigger icon, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I ain't got no problem with that.
Right.
But I don't think he's a bigger icon than Joe Louis just because of that. I don't think so.
Well, that's his wrong point. So.
Because look, hey, Zone, because another thing that black people did back when Joe Louis was fighting, he gave them a lot of morale as far as when he was winning, they were feeling real good about themselves. They said that Joe Louis gave them a sense of pride because he was winning and they never seen any up until that point in that era, they didn't get to see their sports icons like really thrive like that. But I'm gonna say something else too. That fight with Max Mellon, that was iconic. That second fight was iconic. That was an iconic fight. That's the biggest fight in boxing history, and it's not even close. The impact of that fight was the biggest fight in boxing history. That man had a lot of pressure on him. He had to win that fight. He had to go in there. It was Hitler. Hitler was doing his thing, saying that they were more supreme and all this stuff, that Americans are weak. So when he did that and knocked out Max Mellon, that right there was a big deal. So that was just as big a deal as Ali deal with him not getting people drafted. That's on the same par as that, as far as I'm concerned. So I can say
down to opinion on which one you hold in high regard.
Which one you hold high in regard. I mean, yeah, you're right. It comes down to which one you hold in high regard. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying listen, this is what I'm saying. You said it's not an either or. You're trying to tell me that's how it should be for me. What I'm saying,
no, I ain't saying for you. I said for me. I said for me, it's not an either or. Life is not all about either or.
So then when I begin to speak and say, I'm telling you, for me, when we look at the two, they're very close. I'm looking at what Ali did as opposed to Joe Louis did.
Okay, that's fine.
I saw and read and heard what both of them did when faced with a similar scenario.
That's fine.
I like what Ali did. That is a more cultural impact to me. And then when you compare Joe Louis versus Max Smelling, okay, it's no different from comparing that to the fight of the century. You don't tag some fight of the century if it's not the fight of the century.
No, that was beyond the fight of the century, man. That was for morale. That was for everything. That was more than just a fight of the century, man. That was, dude. Do you understand what that fight symbolized? That fight symbolized a lot in that era, in that time. See, that's what I'm saying, man. This is what I'm saying, because I used to talk and speak to a lot of older people that actually was born and actually witnessed whites only on the water fountains and all that shit.
Right.
So I hate when people of the era now, especially black people this era, always talking about what I would have did if I was in the 60s, what I would have did when I was in the 50s. No, you don't know what you would have did if you was in the 50s. No, stop. Because a lot of people, because y'all was on the panel, the other panel y'all was on. No, hold on. Y'all was on the other panel, and y'all kept on saying, oh man, Joe Louis did this, he capitulated, he did this. Y'all don't understand what that man had to go through in that era because y'all wasn't there. Y'all didn't have to live in that era. Y'all living in this era right now, the era of softness, the era of we got all this stuff at our feet. Back then, Joe Louis and them didn't have all that shit at their feet. My grandmother didn't have all that shit at her feet. She was born in 1925. So she seen whites only on water fountains and all that shit. So she seen all that shit. So I can't tell my grandmother, you know what, grandmother? I would have did this, I would have did that. I would have been tough. I don't know because I wasn't back then. It's easy for me to say shit right now because I'm living in this soft ass era that I'm living in. That I don't have to endure that shit. She had to endure all that shit. Joe Louis had to endure that stuff. I'm not saying what Ali didn't go through. Ali went through some shit too in the 60s and the 50s. But what I'm saying is this: don't get mad at Joe Louis because he capitulated and y'all think he was Uncle Tom and all this shit because he walked the line. No, that man did what he had to do. That man did what he had to do.
Bro, I think I'm with you on what you're saying, but you're talking to me, so don't universally slide in and slide out.
No, I'm talking about you too.
Okay, so if we're gonna do this, I'll throw you out of here, man.
I'm talking about you too.
I just let you talk. You're not finna overstep me on my shit. So what I'm telling you is, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm telling you, I ain't the fucking one who's saying anything about what your grandma been through and how bad or easy it is for any generation. I don't give a fuck about none of that.
Yeah, this is soft ass generation.
But who you talking about soft ass generation?
Yeah, it is.
I'm saying I don't give a fuck about soft ass generation. Stop raising soft ass kids because
it's a soft ass generation.
The father is a reflection of his lineage.
No, this is soft ass generation. Period.
Okay, I got you. But let me finish my statement without you talking because I just let you talk. Generation, it comes from a weak ass lineage and bloodline. And if you're so tough and you're so hard, you should breed tough, hard motherfuckers. That's how DNA work. I'm not finna discuss that. That's on you and your soft, not you, but universally. If you got soft ass kids, that's on you. I don't got nothing to do with that. But what I'm talking about is this boxing. I don't have a problem with Joe Louis complying and going into the military. I don't know where you getting this from by saying that somebody's knocking him for going into the military.
No, I'm not talking about the military zone. I'm talking about his boxing career. I ain't talking about the military part.
But I don't care. His boxing career is
his boxing career.
But when it gets to his boxing career, when we look at resume, then Ali still has a better boxing career because his resume is better.
Okay, but but Ali fought the people in his period, and he fought the people in his period.
We understand that, but it doesn't change the fact that it's better.
Well, it's better. It's better because he had his era, and his era was considered the greatest era of heavyweights. And Joe Louis' era, it wasn't considered the greatest era of heavyweights. But Joe Louis cannot have a time machine and go to Ali's era and fight Ali.
You're not asking him to have a time machine.
God damn.
This is the question. Then. Because you came in.
He had a longer reign than Ali. So
let me ask you a question. Who do you got as the ATG heavyweight between Ali and Joe Louis, and why?
I got Ali.
Okay, cool. Bruce, go ahead.
Let me say something. Hold on. Let me say something before Bruce goes. Okay. So one thing that you also got to realize is that Joe Louis had a mentality of compliance. This is why he was so critical on Ali when he came around as Cassius Clay and he joined this group called the Black Muslims. One of Ali's biggest critics was Joe Louis. Joe Louis thought that the Black Muslims were bad for boxing. He thought that the Black Muslims were bad totally for people totally. And he spoke out against Ali because he had more of a personality of compliance that comes from him taking part in the color line. Ali, he was more rebellious than Joe Louis, and he joined the Black Muslims. And Joe Louis said this is the worst thing he could have ever did. And they just had two different mentalities. Totally, they come from two different eras.
Awesome.
It's as simple as that.
I could rock with that. We just come. So I like that. But this is a preview for the people out there getting this good education. And this is what we're trying to do. We're not mad at each other. We just having a high level conversation. This is how you do this. So we're gonna let the OG Bruce Gas come in here.
Bruce.
I'm gonna let Bruce set the record straight because he's the OG. And tell us what you think and how we should be thinking, OG, and we'll go with you. Go ahead.
All right, bro. The last thing I am is a historian. There's a lot of real historians on here. I'm just an older guy who has a pretty good memory, and I lived through the draft. I lived through the Vietnam era. I saw what the impact Muhammad Ali had on the era, and I mean. My draft number was number 69. I wasn't drafted. It was in 1973, and that's the year that they stopped the draft. And Ali wasn't the reason they stopped the draft. The draft was, see, World War II was a popular war. It was for God and country. The whole world, it was rah, rah, rah. And you were honored and obligated to protect America. America was being invaded. I mean, we had Pearl Harbor. We had the European front. It was a whole different time. Vietnam was a little island out in the Pacific, and they didn't invade America. They were communists. Communism was bad. That was the era that we were in. Ali was he was kind of a scapegoat because originally Ali was classified as 1F. He had flat feet, but then when Ali became a celebrity, when he won the title, he was reclassified 1A. And so Ali had to. He didn't want to be drafted on religious grounds because his the Muslims. If it wasn't a religious war, you weren't involved in it, and that's the stance Ali took. It wasn't a popular stance. It was a very unpopular stance. Ali was persecuted for it. Obviously, he lost his title. White America looked down on Ali. It was back in World War II. The conscientious objectors were few and far between. But as the Vietnam War got more and more, as it got higher and higher, a lot of draft dodgers, people going to Canada, people were getting lawyers for deferments, college deferments, religious deferments. It was a crazy time. When Joe Louis was there, it was a more simpler time. And Joe Louis, he went with the flow. His manager, Jack Bucksbow, he had seven commandments for Joe Louis. And one of them was not to be seen with white women in public, not to glow. I mean, we all know what these are. And they were, some were like, Joe couldn't eat fried chicken or watermelon in public, and Joe liked watermelon, but he couldn't be perceived as anything but your standard Negro who went with the program. And this wasn't Joe Louis. Joe had white girlfriends. Joe played golf. Joe gambled. But in the public eye, and this was not the social media eye. Joe was considered to be the man, the patriot. Everybody was backing Joe Louis. Ali, on the other hand, Ali was considered a radical. Sonny Liston was considered more patriotic than Ali. And Ali lost everything. He was defiant. Ali could have went the Joe Louis route. He could have signed up for the army, and he would have went on exhibition tours, and he would have had that easy. And Joe Louis was made a sergeant when he enlisted in the army. He was given a medal for meritorious services for bringing servicemen together. Ali, he didn't want to go that route. And see, I thought Ali, he might have been a puppet of Elijah Muhammad. He might have been a puppet of the Nation of Islam. Ali even admitted later on, after he grew up and after you got to remember, Ali's only 20 years old, 21. He's a kid when this is happening. By those standards, he wasn't looked at like a child. But when you look back today, he was very impressionable. He went with what Elijah Muhammad told him to do. I mean, his best friend was Malcolm X, and there was a rift there. and Ali went with the Nation of Islam. So I mean, there was a lot. No, I got nothing written down, bro. This is shit that is just coming out of my head, George H. Man, and I don't even know where it's coming from, bro. Because but I love speaking classic heavyweight boxing, and both of these guys were both my favorites. I mean, Muhammad Ali. The day Ali died was one of the days I shed tears, bro. I saw Ali fight an exhibition fight, and I could have had his autograph, but the people I were with were too impatient. They didn't want to stick around, and I kick myself in the ass to this day that I didn't get Ali's autograph. But getting back to the draft. The draft was pretty much phased out because it wasn't popular anymore. People were coming home with no arms, with no legs. There was no such thing as PTSD, but you had these cats coming. They had the 1,000-mile stare. And they were coming home addicted to morphine. It was just a bad scene. Nixon realized he was not going to get reelected if the draft was still in place. He abolished the draft in 1973, the year that I got my draft notice. I was number 69 in the draft, and it was a very unpopular war. I didn't want to go, but I was too scared not to go. It was just a fucked up time. People my age, they were rebellious. They were doing drugs. They were just totally being outside the norm. Being normal wasn't the thing to be. And Muhammad Ali, he was kind of like a leader back then because we gravitated to Ali. He started to make more and more sense. He started speaking on college campuses. He started telling people the reason no Vietnam man ever called him a nigger. But yet in this country, he couldn't even go into a Woolworths and get a hamburger when he won the gold medal. So Muhammad Ali was very, very sincere in what he was doing. It was a very, very tenacious time. But if you want to compare the two, totally different eras. Almost incomparable. Joe Louis did what the popular people did at the time, and Ali was a radical. Like I said, Ali was he was persecuted, and this was Ali's chance to persecute back. Ali made a stand. It wasn't popular. I mean, he had to go all the way up to the Supreme Court. I think it was until 1970 where they found Ali was right. He had the rights to not be drafted on religious grounds, and it was after that Ali came back. Incredible, man. 3 years of being inactive, and I'm talking about inactive. Ali didn't train. Ali couldn't go fight overseas. He couldn't really do anything with boxing. He came back after 3 years and he beat the #1 contender, Jerry Quarry, and he was rushed into a title fight with Joe Frazier, which I think Ali could have won if he had a little more time and a little more preparation. But I mean, it's all history, bro. And I mean, it's almost like a moot argument. It's the way the times went, and Ali is really my hero in boxing. I think I love Ali as much as I love my dad. I think about him, I get all fucking clamped up, man. I gotta catch myself for a second. But I mean, it's a great argument, man. Joe Louis, the man, 25 title defenses, fought everybody in his era, fought him twice if he had to, and it was the same with Ali, man. These guys are exemplary heavyweight champions. We look at the fighters today, and this is why I gravitate back to these legends. This is why I some people say I'm stuck in the past, and I don't think I am. I'm just very, very fond. I have so much respect for these fighters that I love talking about them. And back in the day, I know more about Joe Louis than most people because the only way we got our information was the boxing magazines. And they would periodically they have a special Joe Louis edition. And bro, I read that sucker cover to cover. I mean, that was in my bathroom. That was in my car. That was left on the table at work. It was everywhere. So I got to know Joe Louis's beginning. I got to follow him all the way to his defeat for Schmeling, the comeback, winning the title, giving Braddock 10% of his purses. I mean, just such a rich time. But it's great to know about it. It's great to come on here and be able to talk about these things. And it's the same with Ali. I mean, Ali was the man. The last fight that Ali had, it was Trevor Burke, but the one before that was Larry Holmes. And I went to a closed circuit showing of that. And man, everybody was so quiet after that fight. Like Scrapbook says, you could have heard a rat piss on cotton. Nobody was screaming they wanted their money back. Nobody was screaming fix or anything. It was like Ali didn't come through. It's like when the mighty Casey struck out, it was that kind of a feeling. And hey man, thanks for having me up here, Zone 6, and I'm with the legendary Blood Boxing, Wayne talking. Haplo was up here, and it's good to hash it up with you cats.
Yes, sir, Bruce, man.
Hey man, I like that, Bruce. That's what we want to do. We want to stimulate the boxing heads, the OGs, to come in and set these records straight. That's what we want from you guys. That's what we need, and that's what we're looking for on these Thursdays to educate these guys. Listen, I gave you my opinion. I don't have to be right. I can be wrong all day, but I like exactly what you did, and this gives a different perspective from Wayne Talk, the OG Blood, and the real OG Bruce Gas. But Bruce Gas, you did say Ali make you tear up. You didn't say that about Joe Louis. You said
maybe that's because I never touched flesh with Joe Louis.
Because he's closer to Ali's era than he is to Joe Louis' era.
So Gas, who had the bigger impact on your life?
Ali.
That's all about OG. That's it. But he said both. I'm just teasing. So look, I don't want to step on that. You guys can close it out. Wayne Talk, where can they find you? They like what you were saying. Blood, you next, and then we'll leave it at Gas last. Go ahead.
You can find me on Wayne Talk. You can find me on this platform. You can find me on Boxing Roundtable. I just like to talk boxing, and we talk about other things too, but boxing is what we talk about when we come on here.
All right, Blood, you got the flow, man.
Yeah, man, it's been an honor chopping it up on Ali and Joe Louis, man. This was a great discussion. I like where this page is going, Zone 6, man. I can see the maturity and the growth in your page. Maybe you needed that little time off to do that. But you're a lot different from the Zone 6 from 2013 that will come on here and cuss everybody out and all kinds of stuff like that. But I like where it's going now, man. I do want to say that. So first, before I do that, shout out to Wayne Talk, shout out to Haplotype, shout out to the OG Bruce Gas. I've known all of these guys for several years now, and it's been an honor, and I just look for growth in my interactions with all of these guys. But I want to tell you something, that those belts that you got, I'm going to win all of those belts, and I'm going to be undisputed, and I'm going to have a 25 debate reign. I'm going to do some of the wildest promos, and I am taking the part of the heel. Y'all are going to hate me during the time period, but I need those belts, man. I need those belts so I can run the promos, so I can run the smoky promos of the early 80s and late 70s. And I'm going to do it, and I'm going to be a real badass when I do it. And I need those fucking belts, man. I'll go out and I'll buy my own belts, but I'm going to come on the screen all the time with them belts, and I'm going to have 25 defenses like Joe Louis. That's what I'm going to, and I'm going to retire. And I'm going to retire undefeated. I'm telling you now that that's what's going to happen. I'll put my hat in the race real soon. So I'm just letting all the people know, all you youngsters out there, I'm taking all the belts. I'm going to be undisputed.
All right. Well, can we get you in the boxing beats and rhymes?
Hey, you say beats and rhymes? Man.
Yeah, we get that.
If you Rhymes could be my final, he could be my final debate if he would even debate me. But I don't know, man. Beats and Rhymes is a different level. You know what I'm saying? If someone like Beats and Rhymes don't step into the competition, I will go undefeated. If guys like Beats and Rhymes don't have a desire for the belt, or one of the other historians, because other than like Beats and Rhymes or someone like that, or Hardline or Bruce Gas, ain't nobody beating me. Other than them guys of scrapbook boxing. There's only 4 guys on the YouTube platform who I think are capable of going at me with a debate. I'm here to tell you that right now. And if you want some smoke too, Zone, you want to make a comeback after I'm done with my reign and get your belts, maybe you'll be studied up enough by then, and you can come back and you can give blood boxing a go. Because you ain't ready right now. I could tell by the Jack Johnson and you ain't ready, bro. I'm talking shit to you right now.
They'll say you old.
Who said that?
Oh, they're gonna say when I beat you, they're gonna say you was old.
I want them belts, man. Because hey, listen, them belts are gonna bring some prestige to me. I'm gonna be known when I get those belts. I'm gonna talk so much shit for about a year.
No,
I'm gonna
you
hold those.
You don't even know what you want to drink.
I'm gonna talk so much shit. I'm gonna do old school wrestling promos. I'm gonna come in smoky backgrounds with my towel on my head and my shades on, just like old ass Blood Boxing did back in 2008, man. Right? And I'm gonna reign with those fucking belts, and I'm gonna talk shit, and I'm gonna be a heel. I'm gonna be a bad boy. I'm here to tell you, those belts are mine, boy. I'm gonna wear them good too.
I don't think you can beat boxologists.
Man, please.
Okay. All right, let Bruce Gas take us home, OG man.
Bro, I love this shit. You know, my day started off so cool. I got a call from Marlon Starling this morning, bro. He asked me if I'm going to the Hall of Fame, and it just set my stage for a day of boxing. I come on here, you're talking about two classics, two of my favorite fighters of all time, Joe Louis and Muhammad Ali, and ZONE6. You've been doing it right over here, bro. I can't seem to stay out of here when I see your notice come up, and you know, I appreciate you having me on here, man. I like to share the knowledge. I like to pick up knowledge, and you know, this is what I do, bro. You know, and it's catch like blood. I check blood out. I check the boxing historian, even though he's got me blocked. I always check out his shows, and I mean. Nothing but boxing, man. I love boxing, and thank you, Cats, for having me up here. Anybody wants to hear me do my thing, Bruce Gas, boxing, jazz, and more. I appreciate the subs. I talk to old boxers. I talk to new boxers. Whatever it takes, man. It's just boxing 24/7. That's what I do, man. And wrestling blood. I got a background in wrestling. I must have been to 100 professional wrestling matches. I've met dozens of professional wrestlers. I party with them. And I can get up there and debate professional wrestling with anybody. Not the new stuff, but 80s on back, maybe even the 90s, bro. But there's nothing like talking with OGs up here, bro. Nothing like talking with OGs up here. So shout out to all you guys, man.
Shout out, man, to all y'all.
All right. Greatly appreciate this, man. As you guys can see, OGs everywhere, man. This is a good panel. Another one. You guys got the schedule. Enjoy your Memorial Day. Y'all know how we do it. We ride it out. That's just a sample of how Thursday is going to run. So for all you guys out there, this is how you handle business. Bruce Gas came in and laid it down. Blood came and laid it down. Wayne Talk laid it down. We don't all think the same. We don't always agree. But we can have civil discourse. So for all you historians out there, this is how it's going to go. So don't say we're disrespectful. Don't say we're rude. This was an all-star respectable panel. OG Blood and the great Bruce Gas and my player partner Wayne Talk and myself. I greatly appreciate you guys and all you guys do. That was just a sample. We finna go ahead and we finna kill it, but we gotta let it go through this round one more time. Let's go on and crank it up.
Blood boxing, blood fists, boxing beats and rhymes, female boxing fans, Carter J, pull counter, Joker boxing, D Styles, the whole YTBC.
Break it down. Give me 5 people you're ready to fight right now.
Timothy Bradley, Paulie, Floyd Mayweather, Devin Alexander, and whoever the fans want to see.
Listen, I told you give them something visual, so you went ahead and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table. Yeah.
Rollo Jenkins, boxologist, Zone6, Dre, BT Pound, 78 Fight News, Blood Boxing, Blood Fists, Boxing Beats and Rhymes, Female Boxing Fan, Carter J, Pull Counter, Joker Boxing, D Styles, the whole YTBC.